going to do here is we're going to change this vanity light. As you can look up here, you can see this one's broken. So instead of trying to repair it, we're just going to replace it with a new one. Got a sturdy ladder here to stand on. Typically we'll be turning the power off, but if we turn this light off, then the above light's going to be off behind me. So I'm just going to do it with the power on. But if you have an option of turning the power off and you can bring a big flashlight, absolutely turn the power off. I'm a skilled professional. I work things live all the time. I don't encourage you to do that, but what you'll see here is I took these nubs off. That's what's holding the fixture itself on. I'm just going to take these off, one on both sides, and this will just pull straight out. And that's going to expose my wire nuts behind. I'll set these down over here. Very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook the hot. Of course, like I mentioned, I don't encourage you to work it live. Unhook the hot. I'm going to put that wire nut back on there, and that'll protect me from being shocked. And then I'll unhook the white wire, which is my neutral, and then I'll take a Phillips screwdriver, loosen my ground, and then I can spin this right off. I'll take this fixture and just set it aside. And then now I'll want to pull that back bracket off. See, I'll just take my Phillips screwdriver and just loosen those up just enough to get the bracket out of the way. And then I can just pull the bracket off. Carefully get it off of there. Now the fixture is off and out of the way. I would imagine the new light fixture bracket holes won't line up the same, so we'll make our own, but first we'll open up the other fixture. This is a fixture that the homeowner picked out that we're going to install for him. It's a Home Depot Hampton Bay light fixture. We're just going to simply open it. That gets us into the light fixture. Looks like some of the mounting hardware. We'll set it aside. Alright, this will expose our light fixture. Looks like it's got some glass. So we want to carefully set these out of the way. Instructions, if you need instructions on how to install the light fixture. This gets us to the actual fixture. Now we can set this box out of the way. And this one here is a little different. You'll see here how it has the screws on the top. We want to pull those screws off and set them aside because we'll need them when we go to install it on the wall. And it'll have 2 on the top end, 2 on the bottom, so be sure and take all 4 of them out and set them aside. If you have a cordless drill, you can use a drill for this. I'm just using a Phillips screwdriver. Everyone seems to have a Phillips screwdriver. Now what that'll allow me to do now is have this separate from the fixture, and so this is what we're going to mount first. This will mount on the wall. We'll see if our holes line up. It's not likely they will. Looks like they will not. Go ahead and pull these screws out of the way. And we'll simply take those wires back around there like that. Hold this up here. You'll take a level, you'll center it and get it leveled. Looks like we've got a lot of extra wire in this fixture. You might shorten that. Once you get that positioned and centered, you can take a pencil or something to make a mark. And then in that mounting hardware there should be some anchors, and there should also be a couple of mounting screws with those anchors. There's our 2 mounting screws. Just going to open some of these things, have them ready for when we're ready to install them on our light fixture. Expose everything that we're going to need. Alright, now we need to find something that's small enough that we make a small enough hole for these anchors to fit in. A small drill bit, maybe a small screwdriver. I happen to have a pilot bit here in my pocket, which is the right size that I need. So all you have to do is just work it in. If you've got a drill, you can take a drill bit. Just find something to make a small hole. If you've got a drill bit would be great. You do it on both sides. You want your anchors to fit good and snug. I happen to have a small hammer. Do that on both of them. Just like that. Then you can go ahead and put your screws in your anchors. Same over here. Actually, I went to my truck and got some different anchors because the one that came with it, they were just spinning as I was trying to put the screws in. I do prefer these anchors. I'm an electrical contractor, so obviously on my truck I've got what I think are the best for the job. Same with the little Mickey Mouse wire nuts that came with the fixture. You'll see I won't use the wire nuts that came with the fixture. I'm just going to put these anchors in. These I know and trust. So we can go ahead and get the screws started. And now we can slide our back plate on. Loosen that one just a little bit. There we go. Just allow me a little adjustment in it by loosening it. Be sure and use your level. I do this enough that I can get it level just by looking at it. And noticing by looking at it too, because there's a gap up here from the previous hole that was there. I'm just going to slide it up a little bit, and what that'll do is allow me to cover that hole a little better for the homeowner. And I can tighten that back up. You can also use a tape measure to measure your distance off of the ceiling. That's 3 3/8. 3 3/8. You can also measure it that way. So that's got that mounted back on. Now we're going to want to install the light fixture. I do want to shorten this wire because it's long. I am going to turn the power off just long enough to shorten this wire, and then I'll turn it back on for some light. And I can use the light on my phone. Everyone has a phone. There's always a fast flashlight on the phone. So let's turn that off. I just want to strip this wire back. Because I don't need that much wire. And all I did was just pull that outside sheathing off. Shorten that up. And then I can shorten these wires. Take my number 12 wire strippers. Strip 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to cap that hot one back off. Turn my switch back on. Give myself some more light. Now this fixture here also has the same 3. It has a white, which is your neutral, black, which is your hot, and the bare copper, which is your ground. I've got the same 3 wires here. And I'm going to use some of the wire nuts that I have and not use the ones that came with the packaging. I'm not saying not to do that, I'm just saying I don't like to do that. They're still designed that they'll be fine for number 12 wire. I just like the way these go better. It feels like they get a better connection. Just twist them on there nice and tight. Same with white wire to white. If you want a second person to help you hold it up, you could do that. I do it enough that I'm comfortable without it. And then the hot wire, this is the live one. Put your wire nut on there. Make sure it's on there good and secure. You can tuck these wires inside your box carefully so you don't scar them. Then you'll just simply put it Make sure your wires are all tucked up inside there. Get that on there. Take those little screws that you set aside. Then take your Phillips screwdriver. And then you're going to just simply line your screws up, your screw holes up, and you're going to screw your light fixture in. Just get it nice and snug. Do the same on the other three. The top ones I'll have to go get. I've got a little stubby screwdriver. I use my little stubby screwdriver to get to those top two, because obviously this screwdriver is too long. Just because the ceiling is low as it is, which is quite often when you're doing vanities in bathrooms. I just want to make sure I get that good and snug. Alright, then I'll take my little stubby screwdriver, which I'll go get. Alright, so this is my little stubby screwdriver. You can get those at any hardware store. They're nice to have around for situations just like this. So you can reach up in there. You'll see that it's too long. So I'm going to have to get my swivel. Actually, you know what I have in my pocket? Check this out. Let's see if this is going to be too long. No, but there I have some more of these that are shorter. We're just going to pull this little Phillips bit up. Life's all about being flexible. And see if I can just get that to fit up in that little hole. There it is. And then I can just rotate it. Look at that. That does the job. My stubby screwdriver was too long. They make shorter stubbies, but that's the shortest stubby that I have. But I just happened to have in my pocket a little magnetic Phillips bit. I just pulled out the tip of it, and that seems to be doing the job. Genius. There she went. And then get that tightened in there. Alright, so that's got that much of it installed. Now we want to put the glass on. We'd set the glass over here. I'm just going to do one at a time. Just because I don't want to have too many things in my hand giving me a chance to drop it and break it. These right here that I set aside earlier, they'll go right through and they'll go right into the thread just like that. And there should be several of them for each fixture. And that secures those in place. Each one looks like it has 3. Just get those nice and snug. We'll do that 3 or 2 more times. One at a time. Let's get that snug. Same here. Hold your mouth just right. There she goes. Then the third one. Just like that. And then our last glass. Another bad looking vanity light from Home Depot. They have lots of options. Online there's just so many options. You can make just about any vanity light work. Whichever one you prefer, you choose. It's really not that hard to install, as I just showed you. Now just a matter of putting light bulbs in. We'll find us some light bulbs and we'll be done. That's right, the switch is on. It startled me. Now I just put the bulbs in it. And we'll put the mirror back up. And voila, there you have it. And if that's too much light, you can always put a dimmer in here. Go to one of my other videos, I show you how to install a dimmer. You can put a dimmer on the lights if this is too much light for you. You can also use lighter wattage light bulbs. You get plenty of options. You can go 40-watt light bulbs, which isn't uncommon in a bathroom, but for makeup and those types of things, usually you want enough light to be able to see, shaving, things like that. So whatever bulbs that you want, we'll get the mirror put back on and get all of our things cleaned up. We can use the box all this came in and put it all in the box and then take it to recycling or wherever we choose to do with it. There we go. The only reason we took the mirror off is just because it was just easier to do the work and do the filming without the mirror. You don't necessarily have to take the mirror off. We took it off for that reason. And this is it. Finished product. Another job well done.